Salute everyone, Detroit. Greetings to the people of Detroit and those elsewhere who may be listening to this message, but it's in particular for the people of Detroit. This is more than just a message. It is a lifeline. It is a rescue going out to Detroit to rescue us from our miserable condition, which we were almost rescued from just a few short days ago. But that rescue was interrupted by those who got us in the condition from which we need rescue from. What was the message that was rescuing you? What was the move that was rescuing you? What was the move that they made to disrupt that arrest? We're here to address today because we as a whole, I'm not going to say we, you as a whole made a critical mistake and stopped yourselves from rising. Stop yourselves from becoming prosperous. Stop yourselves from becoming a people full of justice. Here in Detroit, I'm going to preface today's words with a definition I want everyone to look up. It's called hybrid warfare. Hybrid warfare. Let me read this definition. I have my laptop here. It's a definition from Wikipedia on hybrid warfare. Hybrid warfare is a theory of military strategy, first proposed by Frank Hoffman, which employs political warfare and blends conventional warfare, irregular warfare, and cyber warfare with other influencing methods such as fake news, diplomacy, lawfare, and foreign electoral intervention. By combining kinetic operations with subversive efforts, the aggressor intends to avoid attribution or retribution. We're going to show you how those two go hand in hand in a minute. Hybrid warfare. Brothers and sisters of Detroit, our beloved family and community here in Detroit of poor and oppressed people, you have just become victims of a hybrid warfare maneuver just a few days ago. What was that maneuver? Now, let's go into what we're talking about, but I'm going to keep this definition, this screen open right here, to point out a couple of things about hybrid warfare. It's political warfare. We were making a political move. We have certain political rights, read from the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Number one, you have the right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, you freely determine your political status and freely pursue your economic and social and cultural development. It reads this exactly. All peoples have the right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. Meaning that all peoples have a right to stand up and say, look, I want to be, or we want to be independent away from this political system that has subjected us to tyranny and all kinds of forms of oppression. We have that right. Here in Detroit and elsewhere, but we're talking about Detroit right now, we have a human right, and it's not given to us by these documents. They are acknowledged by these documents that we have a human right to govern ourselves. If we feel that we're not being treated correctly, we don't feel safe and happy under current political apparatus, we have a right to do away with the apparatus and establish our own political apparatus, to declare our own independence. That's what we celebrate 4th of July for. Because some group of white men courageously stood up for their fellow settlers in this country. and declared their political status as being independent. And then they took over the affairs of the colonies, calling them the United States. That's what we celebrate 4th of July for. So on this 4th of July, we began asserting the same thing they did. We declared our independence and began asserting control over this city. That control includes control of houses, control of city assets and properties. And with that control of city assets and properties, we have a right to give them to ourselves. Is that a scam? Is the founding principle of this country a scam? Call that a scam, and I'll come and kick every one of you all out of office myself right now. Because your existence is a scam. But because you know that it's not a scam, every 4th of July you celebrate the fact that people have a right of self-determination. That those founding fathers had the right to stand up and say, look, we live on this territory. We're going to take it over and control it ourselves because we don't feel safe or happy with the way you're treating us. How many of you in Detroit feel safe and happy with the way conditions are? Raise your hand. Just acknowledge it mentally. None of you. Not our people. I know we got a few, a handful of those who have sold us out and are benefiting from the current system. But at least 85% to 90% of us, we're not satisfied. We don't feel safe. We don't feel happy. So why don't we assert our right to establish our own? That's what we're doing. That's what those who are with me are doing. And others who you don't see on this camera. We're calling ourselves, we are human rights policy officers. Meaning, even in these same human rights laws that the United States acknowledged and have ratified, when human rights are being abused, then the people have a right and a duty to organize themselves to stop that human rights or those human rights abuses, especially if it's by the government itself. So we have risen up and organized ourselves to stop the human rights abuses. This is a humanitarian intervention because we're in a crisis as black people. Whenever people are dying of poverty, that's a crisis. That's a pandemic worldwide. That's an epidemic here in Detroit. Poverty, homelessness. How can you suffer from homelessness in a city that has hundreds of thousands of empty properties? How can women be sleeping in parks and sleeping in cars and sleeping in houses that don't even have roofs when you got houses and properties all over this city? How? Who do the properties belong to, Detroit? Who do they belong to? Mayor Duggan, who's not even from Detroit, came here a few years ago or so, and now he owned the properties. Do they belong to the council members? Do they belong to the land bank, something created a few years ago or so? Or do they belong to the people of Detroit? Your city charter. Read, people. Read. It's very fundamental. It can save your life. Read your city charter. The first thing it says is that the Detroit city government is a service. I'm going to emphasize that. Service institution that recognizes its, I'm going to do the same thing with this word, subordination to the people of Detroit. Sub, S-U-B, under. Ordinations, dealing with orders. They are under the orders of the people of Detroit. Not one time in your life have your miserable leaders got you together to give orders. They get you together to run on a treadmill or a hamster wheel. They get you together to beg those who are supposed to be your servants. You don't get together and give orders. You don't use your power. Because most of your leaders have submitted and gave your power away to them. Seemingly, but you have power because power remains amongst the people. Listen. These comrades, brothers and sisters you see behind me and others, they are different kind. We are different kind. We come to help you assert your right of self-determination. We are giving orders. Giving orders. That's what city charter says. Is that a scam? The Universal Declaration of Human Rights reads that the will of the people shall form the basis of the authority of government. So the authority of government must be based on what the people want. Power to the people. Give the people what they want. That's law. What do you want, Detroit? What do you want? If you are listening, do you want houses? I know you're shaking your head. Yeah. Is that a scam? Well, the law's a scam. What do you want, black people in Detroit? Do you want reparations? You shaking your head, yes. Give the people what they want. Is giving them what they want a scam? Somebody that's been scammed. It is not by us. It's not by us. You've been scammed by that same institution called government and their mechanism of suppression called media. Do you think the most powerful nation in the world is going to allow a free press to influence the minds of the people? They're not going to allow that. They're going to always have mechanisms to suppress any rapid rise of the people. Just last week we created a rapid rise. Went from a few hits on a website to 40,000 or so hits. Went from a few phone calls a day to thousands of phone calls a day on our hotline, on our website. How? Because we did what the scriptures say. We did what Jesus said. Give the people the good news. So we gave the people the good news. Good news of what? That they're getting reparation. Good news of what? All these houses that belong to you are going back to you. We gave them the good news. And they responded to the good news. So now, since the massive response to the good news, how do you defeat the massive response to the good news? By countering it with bad news. With fake news. That's what it says right. That's hybrid warfare. You are engaged in a war. You've always been in a war. The thing is, you've never been fighting the war. You've just been a victim of the war. Sitting here losing a war, don't even know you're in one. That's why you're going to keep losing. Not today. Not today. There comes a time, people, I know, getting well, you didn't believe that we're going to be victims forever. You knew something was coming or something's going to happen to keep us, to take us out of this miserable condition. It's here. It's here. And it didn't come from up there landing down here. It's coming from inside of our hearts and being constructed with these hands. It's coming from you. Greater is He that is in me than he and these mechanisms that's in the world. Because what's in here, your will, as the Universal Declaration says, determines the authority of government. So it's always come from what you will. But you never will. You never will. But today we are organizing the people to assert their will, and that's what this movement is, clearly, Detroit. It's not a scam. We're not asking you for anything. Besides your name to put on that deed we are authorized by you to give back to you. What's the scam in that? What are we getting from you? Besides happiness and seeing your needs met and our needs met as a people. Yeah, we getting some. We getting some happiness. We getting some peace of mind, peace of soul. That's what we getting. We ain't getting no dollars. What are your politicians getting from you but paychecks? And what you get from them? An extra garbage can or extra garbage pickup? You get nothing. You're not going to get anything. That's why you didn't vote, Detroit. To all the political activists that are calling our people stupid for not voting, look in the mirror and say stupid again. Because you are stupid. They say insanity is what? Doing something over and over again, expecting a different result. Doing the same thing over and over again. Our people are tired of doing the same thing over and over again. So now we're giving our people information so they can have informed consent. In the medical industry, they say in order to have informed consent for a surgery or some new medication or something, you must know the risk and the benefits. But most of all, you must know that there is an alternative. You have been making uninformed consent for I don't know how long. You never knew that there was an option of self-determination. So even you who voted, it's uninformed consent because you didn't know. Most of you only voted because you didn't know. We're telling you now there is an alternative. That alternative is simply to assert our right of self-determination. It's a fundamental principle. It's the number one principle in law. It's the number one principle of this country. It's the number one principle of this state, of this city. Read your state constitution. All political powers inherent in the people. All power to the people. Give them what they want. We are giving them what they want. You want houses. You want reparations. You want justice. You want to overturn of wrongful convictions. You want exoneration for our people. You want to empty those prison houses of those who should be out. We're doing that. It's going to happen. It's not a scam. So when those call it a scam, those who call it a scam are actually criminals, murderers, because you need three things to survive. So goes the popular saying: food, clothing, and shelter. So when those are denied, somebody's handing you a death sentence. Genocide. So they are murderers. They're going to be treated like murderers one day. That's why in hybrid warfare it says they do these little things like fake news, put out articles against us to try to make it like it's a news story. It's about scams, etc. But actually it's a political warfare move to stop your rise. They do this hybrid warfare, as it says, the aggressor. The aggressor. This is an aggressor move. We're not the aggressors. We're trying to come help you. We're not aggressors. The aggressor intends to avoid attribution. I mean, they don't want you to attribute to them. They don't want you to say, no. The government put out that news to stop them from helping us throw out the government and take over these properties, which your government itself has billions of dollars invested in. Personally. Wayne County Treasurer got caught owning a real estate company against policies, owning dozens of properties that he didn't pay tax for. You know, we already know how many scoundrels the mayor and city council get caught, and the FBI was just raiding them last week. So they have something to lose. Dan Gilbert, the one who sponsored the white mayor of the blackest city, Mike Duggan, he's a billionaire who has spent over $6 billion or so in Detroit with plans to make more billions and even trillions of dollars off Detroit. So you think they're going to allow you and me, our poor selves, to rise up and take over their trillions of dollars? They're going to stop it by any means. They're going to try to stop it by any means. But they want to hide their hand and make you think, nah, we just putting out some news. We didn't even just put out the news. It's just them scammers. We got caught scamming the people. And you don't even ask what the scam is. So they avoid attribution, meaning you attributing it to them and their agenda, in order to avoid retribution, meaning that when you know that they stopped you from enjoying your right, that they're actually murdering you, you coming for retribution. You coming for retribution. Listen, I'm showing this for a reason, because I want all you soldiers out there, all you street people, so-called boys in the hood, gang members. It's time to gang. Get you some of these. I know you already got them. You got big ones. Bring them out. Bring them out. Because look, we're going to answer fire with fire. If it come to it, we're going to answer fire with fire. Your day of retribution is coming, you wicked so-called political leaders. Your day of retribution is coming, fake news. Keep them vans and all that equipment here. We're going to have us some new vans. Called the People's New. We're going to paint that fox up off there and put the people on there. Because it belongs to us. So don't let us catch you. We have now, and the people have now, they know your mechanisms. And we attribute it to you, and you are going to receive retribution. You're going to receive it. Because you're killing people. So people in Detroit, we're not going to hold you long. Just wanted to get this message out so that the people can know. So that you can know that we are still here. We ain't going nowhere. Scam artists usually get revealed and they run away. They flee. We're still here. The very next day or so after they revealed the so-called scam in their fake news, we were at the Coleman Young building again, backing down the police and serving our people. We ain't going nowhere. And the same ladies that they had on that Fox fake news had on the news article, they were there in support. We got them on video ourselves. They told us how you chopped up their word. They said chopped and screwed. You evildoers. You evil, wicked murderers. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. People in Detroit, you better rise and realize what's against you. So those of you who are listening, who are able-bodied, if you are a man, stand up with us. Stand up. Stop letting them keep your women in cars and on sleeping in parks and homeless. Stop letting them keep your children in such a miserable condition that they are barely hanging on to their lives. Men, that's the definition of a man. I know you got 20 girlfriends. That don't mean you're a man. Can you protect those girlfriends? Can you protect them? You can't. You're a subject like they are. So men, stand up. Let's take control of this city. We are not scam artists. Your rights is not a scam or not a scam. It's the law. Let's follow the law. Let's be law-abiding citizens. Don't they want us to be law-abiding? That's what they say. You should be a law-abiding citizen. We are law-abiding citizens, and the first option in law is self-determination. The first option is to alter or abolish when you don't feel safe and happy. So let's rise up, everyone. Let's make ourselves safe and happy. Signing out. Salute.
Salute.